Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. If you like what you're hearing, hit the subscribe button, give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
You're listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net. This is the Hockey Betting Preview for Friday, February 7th, 2020. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing.
I got to tell you, we love doing this. It's the Hockey Betting Podcast, and we love the weekend. Saturdays are awesome. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, just a bevy of games. So we got to go Gatling gun because we want to dive into all these games. But we start on a Friday night. Brian Blessing and Cam Stewart, we both happen to be this week in Las Vegas. I happen to be here all the time. Cam happens to be visiting. How you holding up?
Doing pretty good, Brian. Grinding at the tables. I met some guy from Alaska, and I got to tell you, the pleasure of coming out to for people who come to Vegas, we had a lot in common. We both like the cold. But anyway, you find a guy that you like, you play at the table, friendlier people, and that's the one thing people don't understand. Like, if you're really going to try to make money, stay at these casinos outside of the Strip or Fremont, whatever. It's local people. They know what they're doing. Like, you meet, back at the old casinos, I meet 5 or 10 turkeys per session. Here, it's one. The one idiot who's just freaking out on everybody. But, hey, you get that everywhere, and I found the people great. Pit boss is nice. Cocktail waitresses are quicker. A lot to like out here.
I know. No, you're a good guy. You'll talk to anybody ad nauseum. And
I'm from Alaska.
Oh, no, well, yeah. You imagine this poor guy. He comes in from the Aleutian Islands to get the hell down here, and he ends up sitting next to a baby seal at the table.
He's a good player, though, man. This guy, he's hard, right? Anyway, he was no stranger to blackjack. He must play a lot of cards up there. Anyway, let's rock, buddy. I'll tell you something. These pooches, we talked about it. How do you lay 220 with the Sabres? That's insane. The Kings were beating the Islanders till late, but what was the other game?
The other one was sickening. We had the over.
Scores 5 goals.
Oh, and Philly can't get a goal. The other one that was nauseating was the over in the Vancouver Minnesota game. And anyway, the total 6. So the thing, they great chances. Stalock played good. Whatever. Markstrom played good. It gets to 4-2. Greenway's got the puck in his stick. No one near him. Shooting from just inside the red line. Empty net. Cha-ching.
Oh yeah.
He breaks his stick. Shooting at the empty net. Can we go back to wood sticks, please?
I agree with you. I used to play with a wood stick. It was fantastic. Yeah, sure, they break a little bit, but yeah, these other ones are just like toothpicks. They break all the time. But Brian, we talked about it. Like, these dogs. The thing is, you get 5 goals from the Devils. You got to think Philly's going to get a couple, but it was a good night. I played a lot of pooches. The Jets even came in. What were they, plus 180? So take a look at these big underdogs, man. They're coming in big time. And tonight, though, it looks like a pretty chalky night.
All right, Anaheim's at Toronto. Toronto's laying 220. The only way we're looking at this here is, what do you do from a total perspective? Because the Leafs, they make the deal. They get Campbell in. They had to get a goaltender, and we know how guys go nuts when they first get traded. Here's Anaheim playing them, and they've played Campbell before, so they kind of know him. And oh, by the way, it's not Gibson. It's Ryan Miller. So would you lean over the total?
Oh, definitely. I think Miller, when this guy plays, we got goals, and we talked about the Leaf situation. They got to score a lot of goals to win hockey games. 6.5, we're not getting a 7, so I lean over. I don't want to lay 230, but I got to believe they win at home, and, it's parlay material, or if you feel good about it, you can go minus 1.5, plus 110, but they should be able to get the job done against Miller.
All right, we go to the Sabres at Madison Square Garden. Hutton gets back in here, 7-9-4. It's been Civ City for this guy. This team, they are a basket case. I mean, come on. They come out of the break with all these home games. You think, okay, here it is. It's your statement. It's your chance to, at least get in the discussion. And they lose to Ottawa, Montreal, and Detroit at home. I mean, it's just a vomit job going on there. I'd go over the total here. And if it's Georgiev or Igor, advantage Rangers for sure.
No, I like the Rangers in this spot. The thing is, what are you going to do? It's $1.70. It's actually not that bad the way Buffalo's been playing right now. No, and the Rangers are a good hockey team. Buffalo, yeah, you said it, man. This team's in big trouble right now. They can't even beat Detroit at home, and now you're going into New York. It's a bad spot for these guys. So, yeah, I got to believe I like the Rangers in this spot, Brian. I'm not sure. Probably over in the total, too. It looks like a salami night. It looks like we're going to be going to the butcher because the Leafs-Anaheim game should have lots of goals. Buffalo-New York should have lots of goals as well.
I think it is salami night. I mean, here's the thing. You got this, old Elvis is playing tonight. Bernier played against Buffalo last night. Looks like they're coming right back with him. Total's only 5.5. But, I mean, my God, come on. 340? No thanks.
No, thanks with Columbus. I got to be honest with you. Detroit, they're just a weird team. Like, they're huge dogs all the time, but are they that bad? They're not that bad. Columbus should win the game, but I don't have faith in them laying 360 in this spot. As for the total, I don't know what to do with this game. 5.5. I'm going to pass on this one. Yeah, you're right. This game, it's got ugly written all over it.
And then finally, Minnesota, back-to-back nights. They get the win over the Canucks. And that's the thing. We talked about that. You never know. It's like you could have some angles that offset others, and that was Vancouver's head was already on the plane. They've been gone forever. They were going home. Minnesota beat them. You could have said the same thing about Vegas. Their head to be on the plane to go home, but Florida was coming home from a long road trip, so the one angle kind of offset the other. The Dallas sitting here laying in the weeds waiting on them, $2 favorites, 5.5 shaded to the under. The only thing I'd wonder about, are they going with Bishop? And it looks like it is. Stalock against Bishop.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you look at these Minnesota games, they can score, right? And Dallas, I prefer to take the overs with Dallas when they're on the road. Like, we saw that Islander game, Brian. Like, we can get goals when these guys play, but 5.5, I don't know. I kind of want to take a shot with the over in this game. I like Dallas. I hate to say this. Like, take a look at the card. It's chalk city, like home chalk, right? Toronto should win. Rangers should win. Columbus, Dallas. So I guess you got to be creative with these games. You got to do puck lines, parlays, round robins, and everything because, like, I try to make a case for a dog here, but, who's the best dog on the board? I hate to say it. Maybe even Detroit at plus 280.
Yeah, it's an ugly card. I mean, you got the gray areas with Campbell. First start, maybe pressure on him, but he's going against a backup. I got to go the over in the Buffalo Rangers game. I think the Rangers are getting a 4 or 5 spot for sure against Hutton, and Eichel usually shows up at Madison Square Garden and does some good things. That's probably of the 4 games. I'd probably lean over 6.5 Buffalo and the Rangers. That would be the one I think I'd step up to the plate.
Yeah, no, the thing about Buffalo, too, you don't have to worry if Eichel scores a couple goals. They'll give up goals to the Rangers. We know that. It doesn't matter. Look at their goaltending situation, their defense. They're horrible. Like, they're giving up goals to Detroit. What do you think the Rangers are going to do at home? I think they're probably good for at least 4, Brian. So, yeah, I got to believe we can get there with an empty net or 2, 7 or 8 goals in this game. It seems reasonable. I kind of lean overs. Like, if I was kind of like playing the dogs, I'd probably blindly take more overs than unders tonight and hope for the best. I think the salami gets there.
All right, buddy. Are you ready? Are you ready for some hockey?
I'm ready. Yeah. Let's do it.
Saturday, Ottawa, Winnipeg, Jets, $1.75 at home. Total is 6 shaded to the over. By the way, one thing I should mention, you tell me, is there anything to this? Is it just another day? But it is hockey day in Canada. And by the way, I know they're the hockey night in Canada, all these Canadian teams are playing each other. I don't know if you happen to see it. Ron McLean's hosting the stuff up at Yellowknife.
Yeah, my whole
personally, they could leave them up there. The way the Don Cherry thing went down. But
you want to talk about selling a guy? Down the river. Yeah, they should keep him there. Say, try to get home there, buddy, and enjoy your $3,000 flight.
Wait, what's the lake called?
I can go to an all-inclusive for 2 weeks for cheaper than it cost me to fly back to Yellowknife. But yeah, no, I'm with you on the whole situation. I think it was ridiculous. Anyway, there is no angles in this game, Brian. But I will say one thing: on Saturday night, everybody shows up too. It's one of those things. And I got to notice, like, just from recollection, a lot of dogs come in. A lot of the favorites on Hockey Day in Canada, they lay big numbers and they don't get it done. So watch out. These teams that you think, it's actually funny. I'm looking at the first game, Ottawa, Winnipeg. Just off the top of my head, Ottawa beats Winnipeg a lot in this situation. And I know it's crazy, and Winnipeg needs the win, but
there's nothing crazy about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I clearly remember Ottawa as a bad hockey team, like going into Winnipeg and winning like 5-1, blowing them out a couple times in this situation. So I would look at Ottawa in this spot getting 50 cents. My history tells me they actually show up.
All right, let's go to Arizona at Boston. Boston's on a heater again, laying $2. Total here is 5.5, under 20. Part of me says out of conference game, a little pond hockey-ish maybe. I don't think there'd be any grisly bad blood here. I kind of like maybe the over 5.5.
Yeah, you're more the total guy. I'm a sides man. We've been screwed a little bit with these totals, Brian, but I got to believe, I kind of like taking Arizona more on the road rather than at home. They seem to score goals and they can play a game where they can pop some in. As for Boston, they're a damn good hockey team. 5.5. I got to be honest with Brian, I don't really have an opinion of the total of this game. At first glance, I'd look at the under in this game. I think Arizona might want to try to clamp down and play a 2-1, 3-2 type of game against Boston, but 5.5 is enticing if you like the over. But and you're right, when teams get from west, east, and there's no bitter rivalry and stuff, you tend to play a little bit more loose. There's no hatred, but 5.5 with these teams, they can get goaltending and play defense. So I'm going to pass on that one.
All right, let's move on, and we'll go to the Kings at Jersey. The Devils laying 40 cents to anybody. I don't know about that. The total 6 to the under. A good effort, very good effort against Philadelphia, they were atrocious. And honestly, Cam, if you had to watch that game, there were breakaways. There were things all over the place in that game that it didn't go over the total. And the one thing for Jersey, everybody, and specifically here in Vegas, they didn't re-sign him, and then he started slow, and everybody's like, oh, see, he told him, like, you guys, man, really? It's like a 15-game 20-game sample size. They're writing this guy off. Who's been playing lights out for the Devils is Gusev.
Yeah, your boy Gusev. No, the
five on five, man. This guy's figured it out. I mean, the guy's just a hockey player. I mean, everybody was quick to poo-poo this guy when they got rid of him. Like, yeah, give him some time.
I'll tell you something about the Devils. They're just one of the weirdest teams in the league. Think about it, Brian. They were almost a $2 dog, and they beat the Flyers 5-0. They didn't just beat them; they kicked their ass. So it's just really weird to me. As for New Jersey, they could lose this game to the Kings. The Kings have been grinding, but they find ways to lose games late. As for the Devils, 40 cents, I'd probably take a shot with New Jersey. They got a little bit of a bounce in their step right now. They're playing better. When Blackwood starts, I like them a hell of a lot more. I always check the goaltending, especially with New Jersey games, because I don't trust anybody else but him. But I will probably lay 40 cents with the El Diablo. Give me the Devils there in the situation. I don't know about this Kings team. Eventually, they are going to show up and win a game, but I like the short price with New Jersey.
Basically, we're looking at a pick'em game here, Cam, and that's Nashville at Edmonton. The totals on the game here are 6.5. Edmonton, too, pretty sketchy efforts after the game against Calgary.
Yeah, I don't know what Edmonton's doing. Like they're a team that looks great sometimes, and then they look awful. Nashville squeaks by Calgary. They get a 3-2 win there. I got to tell you, though, Brian, I think Edmonton eventually will, get it together. It's a pick-em price against Nashville. They should be able to get it done. I think they're going to be playing some desperate hockey against the Preds, so I would lean to Edmonton. I'm seeing a straight pick all over the board there. I wouldn't be surprised if this game went over, too. What does Edmonton do? They score and give up goals. They've been horribly defensive in their defensive zone recently. They've been a train wreck. But 6.5, I think they can score a lot of goals against Nashville, too. I lean home team, and I lead the over, buddy.
We'd like to thank BetChrisCanada.net for their support of the Hockey Betting Podcast. I'm Brian Blessing in sunny Las Vegas.
And I'm Cam Stewart in cold Toronto, Canada.
If you love hockey and you're in Canada, and Cam is, by the All-Star break, even if you can't stop thinking about taking a vacation someplace sunny and warm, but you don't want to miss out on any of the hockey action, look for a BetChris near your next holiday destination.
BetChris is one of the leading sports books in the Western Hemisphere, with hundreds of sports betting locations throughout the Caribbean and Latin America.
Watch the game at a BetChris location. Food and drink specials and VIP lounges are available at many BetChris locations. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open your BetChris account.
Place some bets on your game and collect your cash at the window when the game is over.
BetChris offers single bets, parlay bets, teasers, and more on pregame and live odds for hockey and all your favorite Canadian and American sports leagues. And BetChris offers a variety of team and player props, including futures.
BetChris offers the best value odds on Canadian and international sports. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open up your account at a BetChris location. Deposit $750 or more and get up to a 40% reduced commission on your sports bets, up to -106 on single bets and parlay bets. That's the best juice in the biz.
So, if you're planning a trip to exotic locations from the Caribbean and Mexico to Peru and almost everywhere in between, the odds are very good. There's a BetCris Sportsbook where you're going on holiday. For more information about visiting a BetCris location while you're on holiday or to listen to or subscribe to the Hockey Betting Podcast, visit betcriscanada.net. That's betcriscanada.net. Cam, you're Canadian. When you leave Canada and you're heading south, use the promo code PODCAST. Really good game. Who would have thunk? Colorado at Columbus. I don't know about listen, I love Colorado. I don't know about laying 40 cents on the road here. Tortorella's got them playing good hockey. Total on the game is 6, shaded to the under.
Yeah, this is a tough game. This might be a spot where you want to take the Blue Jackets, though. Colorado's been on the road. They played some easy teams, but they get to beat Ottawa 4-1, and now you actually have a decent team in Columbus that doesn't get any respect, and we're getting a quarter at home. This could be a letdown spot for the Avalanche, I'm starting to think, Bry. So I'm going to give Columbus a long, hard look at plus 125 in this game. I think that's a really nice price, and you know what? These guys get no respect from the bookmakers. They're a real decent team. They find ways to get it done. And, I just think this is a spot where Colorado comes out flat and Columbus is at home, can get it done. I'm looking at the home dog here.
Barking.
Yes.
All right. I think I like this game a lot.
What do we do here?
Toronto's at Montreal. Toronto's laying 25, 30 cents on the road. Total in the game is 6.5. Toronto's playing Anaheim on Friday night. Back-to-back nights. Anaheim, is a clog it up, weird team to play against. Miller is the goalie tonight. We mentioned that. But you got Campbell makes his debut. I don't know that they come running right back with Campbell on back-to-back nights. You figure the guy just flew in there. So you're probably looking at Hutchison. And then Montreal plays a much more wide-open style than Anaheim. I know it's Carey Price, but I mean, listen, the Leafs, there's just so much firepower out there. I just think this is such a wide open game compared to what will happen for Toronto on Friday night. I think it's a shootout.
Yeah, I think it's a shootout too. And when Toronto and Montreal get together in these type of games, they usually are 5-4, 6-4 games. Things happen. And you're right. Like the situation with Campbell, he plays. I don't think he can go back to back. That's tough, right? And then they got to show some faith in Hutchison too. You're not just going to get a guy and go, hey, you're playing the first 2 games, so you want to give the other guy a little bit of confidence. But that's bad news. As for Montreal, I would actually look at them in this spot too. Toronto, sure, they play games. They lose to the Rangers. Montreal has been a little bit better recently. You're getting them at a price. Toronto's on a back-to-back. I lean over, and I hate to say it, but the Montreal Canadiens might be a very good dog in this game. Historically, they play these a tight game, and you get 10 cents with the home dog. So I think Montreal in the over is the way I'd look at that one.
The other thing we should say, buyer beware here. He was day-to-day. Is there a chance Andersen comes back?
No, he's not going to be back for a while, Brian. I think it's going to be at least another week, but it seems optimistic day to day right now. He's supposed to be out multiple weeks, right? So, and he only got hurt. When did he get hurt?
They said no. They're calling him day to day.
Yeah, I don't think so. You know what? He won't be ready this weekend. Maybe earlier on in the next week. But I got to believe when he first got injured, it seemed like it was going to be a longer injury than that. But I don't think there's any. They're not going to rush him right back. Just pick up Campbell, you play Hutch, and then if he gets better, then he comes in midweek.
Well, okay. If it's Hutchinson, it's over for me. But
for sure.
Pittsburgh's at Florida. Pick'em game, total 6.5 shading to the over. Man, Florida in their own end, man.
What a train wreck. Vegas
just killed them. It's Pittsburgh a pick?
I know. You know what? I got to go with the Penguins. Even though,
and you know what? Same old Panthers, right? And I know, Cam.
I know. Exactly.
I mean, everybody. I'm telling you, I'm blue in the face. Everybody, the Panthers, and now they got all this talent. They got this and they got that, and blah 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 blah. This is the Panthers, and then you get the last week of the regular season at 4 points out.
Exactly.
They do it every year.
It's the same thing. Like, you can't take futures on the Panthers. You think they've turned a corner. They haven't. They got great players. They never get it done. The Bobrovsky thing, it's not working out. He looks old this year. It's just this team is a train wreck. Yeah. But they have no.
Bobrovsky, by the way, $10 million. Shea Theodore beat him with a wrist shot.
He's horrible.
from just inside the blue line. It's like, get off the ice. You got to be kidding me.
Bobrovsky's awful. Like that. This is the thing. Like, just because he played on Columbus, Florida invested a lot of money. And this is actually, Brian, when you really break it down, this could be one of the worst signings of the year. When you look at Florida, like any other goaltender could have been better. He's been horrible. Like, not just bad, he's been horrible for them. And they already have a lax defensive core. So Florida games tend to go over. It's 6.5. I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh put up 5 themselves. Yeah, I got to take the Penguins at a pick. Florida could win. They're one of those teams, they show up sometimes at home, but how the hell do you not take Pittsburgh? Also coming off a loss against Tampa Bay, I have a feeling they're going to be angry, and you better watch out. And I know Florida got their asses kicked, but they expect a typhoon in Pittsburgh. I kind of like the Penguins there.
Philly, Washington. Washington's laying $1.90, not going anywhere near that. You know what, though? I would say this to you. I think Philly had their fair share of chances against Jersey. I mean, Blackwood actually played pretty well, but I think Philly bounces back here with a pretty good effort. And I think in a weird way you see goals here. I would think this is a higher scoring game.
Yeah, and that.
No, by the way, don't forget. Now I doubt he's getting 4, but at some point next week, it's coming. Ovechkin's sitting 4 shy of 700 goals.
Yep. No, you're right, Brian. And I'll tell you something though. This is a very dangerous game for Washington. Philly coming off that loss. This is the type of game I expect a real tight one. You might want to take a shot with the Flyers at plus 165. Washington's a much better team, but the Flyers are a Jekyll and Hyde team. They look horrible against Jersey. They'll go into Washington and really battle. So I wouldn't pull the trigger with Washington. I'd actually look at Philly in this spot. They could be a very, very live dog.
I'll give you a live dog. I think the Islanders go into Tampa Bay plus $1.70 and give them a midful. Tampa Bay's winning a lot of games. Life is good for them again. What are they on? A 5-game winning streak. They're scoring goals in bunches. But this is an Islanders team that's really good at, frustrating teams. And I know they've kind of hit a little mini wall here, but they come off a 5-3 win against the Kings. They did beat the Stars. I think Trotz has got them going a little better here after the break. I think the break came at a really good time for them. And honestly, I think the Islanders are a mini dangerous team when the playoffs get here to pull off an upset or two. I think I could actually take a swing with the Islanders here.
Yeah, it's a nice price, Brian. I wouldn't be laying $2 with Tampa. Total 6 in this game. I'm going to lay off the total. I'm looking at a lot of dogs on this card again. I think, Tampa Bay might find a way, but I'm not laying $2 with these guys. So, yeah, for me, it'd be the Islanders or nothing.
All right. Hey, by the way, buddy, our angles, incredible. I mean, you've got, St. Louis sitting here going to play Dallas. But, I mean, here's St. Louis. This great season they're having. And they go on a 5-game Western road trip, and they come home. They beat Carolina, but then the air's kind of out of the balloon. Catches up with them the second game. But St. Louis has been, by the way, I'll throw this out there just to make sure I don't go box of rocks and forget. Next Tuesday, at this late date, I don't remember this ever happening so late. Next Tuesday at Anaheim, next Thursday at Vegas, St. Louis Blues, Dad's trip.
Yeah, you like that the Dad's angle there. Dallas at St. Louis, like, what do you do in this type of game, Brian? Think about this, too. Dallas, they lose to St. Louis in the playoffs. They're getting 25 cents. I don't know, man. I got to tell you, like, I'm looking at some of these games, and you can make a case for the Dallas Stars here. St. Louis is good, but I don't want to lay 50 cents in this game. And Dallas, they're capable of beating anybody anytime with the style that they play. Bishop makes a few saves. The Blues are a good team, but they're just one of these teams that they can lose. Like, they're a good, solid hockey team, but I just think getting 25 cents with Dallas and what they bring to the table might be the way to play this game.
I kind of like the dog in the next one. Calgary's at Vancouver. Vancouver laying $1.20. First game home from the long cross-country road trip. And Calgary kind of runs hot and cold. But the reality of this, Cam, is Calgary's lost 3 in a row. And they're starting, listen, good angles. You want to get a trip off to a good start, team coming home first game from a long road trip. And, oh, by the way, Calgary needs this game a lot more than Vancouver does.
Yeah, they do. And Calgary, you talked about it. This Calgary-Edmonton series really, really hurt them both. I think they spent a lot of energy there, and both Alberta teams lost the other night. And they got to pick it up. Like, that's over and done with, and you got to take care of business. Vancouver's a very good team, Brian. If you look at their home record, they don't lose a lot of games at home, but I think you're going to get a very desperate Calgary team at a plus price. I would also look at the over in this game. I think Calgary's going to try to want to open it up with some speed and play that type of style against Vancouver. It's 5.5. That seems low to me. I think we can get to 6. So I lean with the visiting dog, and I lean with the over in that game.
By the way, 1 foot little note here. And by the way, I don't think you knew this. The other reason we got a push out of it, the other reason that Vancouver-Minnesota game didn't go over is Pettersson took the warm-ups and didn't play. So when he's not out there, I mean, it's a completely different animal. It was JT Miller basically doing everything he could to put goals on the board. So that if Pettersson, that was the key for Vancouver. Is they kept this kid healthy. He took a cheap shot the other night, and he took warm-ups and couldn't play. So no sure thing he plays in this one too.
Well, if he doesn't play, that makes Calgary even more of a live dog in this game, buddy. But yeah, the Flames got to pick it up. It's actually, we talk about it, man. I just said it. These Alberta teams, like, they're very erratic. Like, the way they play, they get hot, they get cold. Like, you told me a long time ago, man, I don't know what to do with Calgary games, and it's tough. But this is this is the type of game Calgary wins. You're right, Brian. They go in there, small dog. Against Vancouver. Vancouver feeling good about themselves because they're overachieving this year. I think we get a desperate Flames team.
All right, and the get-out game, my friend, be glad you're where you are, because I think the odds makers get it to a degree now, start to you catch on to some of these things. Vegas has not played since January. They basically 4-game road trip, their break, All-Star break, 4-game Eastern road trip. First game home. They've done this twice this year. Murdered in both games. The Rangers killed them. Colorado beat them 6-1 when they came home from a long road trip. I really wish Carolina had lost to Arizona. I would have liked them even more. But, and Carolina just lost to Vegas in their first game off the break where they played terribly. And I thought they should have won the game. Carolina's coming in here with a stone in their shoe. Vegas kills Florida, and they're looking good. Pete DeBoer's first game, T-Mobile Arena. Hey, Carolina.
Yep, I'm with you, Brian. I think this might be one of my favorite games on the on the card. We're getting 25 cents with a team in a desperate situation.
Oh, no, buddy, let me tell you something. You're going to get more. That's why I'm saying to you, be glad you're where you are, because here in Vegas, they will run to the window tomorrow. You watch. You'll get plus 40. You'll get plus 40 tomorrow. They will bet Vegas like they're going out of style tomorrow because they're home.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you're right. In this game, just let it simmer. Like a nice stew or a chili, Brian, put it on there. Just low and slow, like me and my slow cooker as I'm watching the pork slowly leave the bone, and we'll get Vegas up to minus 160. And then we'll come like a hurricane and a typhoon and take Carolina to get it done at plus 140. I'm reading your mail, buddy. It sounds like we like a lot of dogs on the card, and we usually do. That's the way to make money in this league. The National Hockey League, it's a dog league where, every night crazy things happen, Brian, and we talked about it last night. 3 dogs, Winnipeg, Detroit, New Jersey, 3 dogs of plus 180 or more, 1 outright. So you know what? If you can make a case for it, you're just not going to blindly bet them, but I like to try to make a case for them, and that's how you really build that bankroll, buddy.
All right, I got 4. Just the summation here. Let's see if but you know what? Even if Andersen comes back, he's come, a little rusty. I like Toronto, Montreal over. I like Calgary at Vancouver. I like Carolina against Vegas. And you're giving me Pittsburgh at a pick against Florida? Sign me up. I like those 4.
Yeah, I like those 4 too. You can add to that list. And the big one, Brian, Carolina. But we're going to wait on that one and let it simmer. We like Carolina against Vegas. And I got to be honest with you, I might take a shot with my big pooch on Saturday. I like, we forgot, the Toronto-Montreal over and the Montreal Canadiens at plus 110, I think are also really good spots.
All right, let's wrap it up with this because you were talking about crock pots and stuff simmering. If you were challenged to, Cam versus food, could you eat an entire pork butt?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, Brian, I told you, I've ate 72 wings in 10 minutes. My doctor says don't do those type of things anymore. But I am a pig. And I think I can throw down a pig pretty easily. A pork butt, that's nothing, buddy. I could take half a porkette out. I got a real problem with food. But anyway, buddy, seen it before. Maybe after the show, you'll take me for some pizza and wings, and we'll see how it goes. I could put a dent in anything.
No, Cam, you got it backwards, buddy. When you're around, food has a problem with you.
Well played, Blessing. Well played. You're absolutely right, buddy. But no, ever since I got this crock pot, man, I've been trying to eat a little bit better, Brian. But you know me. I still have my Achilles for a good succulent wing. I can't say no. Like, I smell chicken wings in the air, the way KFC pumps that odor through your community. When I smell chicken, I'm there.
Yeah, well, your mantra, you're a unique guy because you're all about quality and quantity.
You got it, buddy. I can't wait for you to take me back to that pizza joint. And hey, I got to cash a few tickets from the other night too, so it's going to be nice to have a little bit of money in my pocket. Good luck to everybody, Brian. And yeah, I really like. I think this Saturday card we can do some damage.
Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. Hey, we hope you like what you're hearing. And if you do, hit the subscribe button and give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction, as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At betchriscanada.net and the Hockey Betting Podcast, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling, an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling. And do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.